Welcome to the Pivot Show, where millions are made.
All right, it's your host, Trevor J. White, and welcome to today's show. Today's topic is a hot one because if you can get this, you can truly create your life. Back years ago, about probably maybe 20 years ago, probably, this movie called The Secret came out. And if those of you remember, you know what I'm talking about. Those of you who don't, it was a show that was introducing the idea to the mainstream called the law of attraction, right? That you could just put something out into the universe and then it would come back to you. And they illustrated it, I think, well, but it was a lot of people misinterpreted it as, well, I just have to put all this stuff, this law of attraction out to the universe, and then it's just magically going to come back to me, and I'm somehow just magically going to have the life that I want. Doesn't work that way, and anybody who believed that, obviously, they just kind of sat around on the couch and waited for life to happen, and it never happened, and then they thought this law of attraction thing must have been just fake or a lie or whatever, right? This is where the introduction, for me at least, in vision boards, right, manifesting your life, your reality, and looking at what if your mind actually has more control and power than you actually give it. And I want to spin that a little bit because that show came out. It's very, very, that was 20 years ago. But just in my own reality right now, we've got some friends, my wife, myself, like there's just people in my world right now. Some of us are thriving, some of us are not. Right? We look at this game, and life is about what intention you give it. Right? It's literally comes down to as simple as that. It's what you focus on becomes your reality. It really is. It's like self-proclaimed manifesting whatever. Right? If you think your life is abundant, you end up having an abundant life. If you think your life is scarce and things are hard and it's hard to make money, it's hard to create relationships, then that's what your reality is going to be. And our ability to manifest the life that we want comes down to the first step, of which it's the thoughts that we have. In order for you to live in the big house, to have the cars, to have the relationship, to have just all the money, to have the ability to do all of these things that you say you want to do, it starts with a thought, right? And I think we confuse this. We think that all of a sudden the thing is going to happen. I'm going to get the house. I'm going to land the nice job. I'm going to start the company and start to make the kind of money. And then once that happens, then I'm going to start believing in the law of attraction or manifesting my world. Meaning I'm going to start believing that my results in my life are a certain way. And because my results in my life are a certain way, that now I have these things, I can think this way. Right? It's this idea that once I have it, then I can become it. Once I have the money, then I become that guy who has that kind of money. Once I have the relationship, I become the guy. Right? It's like you literally put yourself in a position, in a place where no matter what's going on in your world, you sit in a space where you've got a result that has to happen. And if you don't have the result that actually happens, without the result happening for you, guess what? You sit in this other place where your mind is just saying, well, I'm just not lucky. I'm just not here. I guess it's only for the other guy. It's only for the other people. And you start to put yourself in a spiral of scarcity, guilt, shame. Let's relate this all just back to money, because money's universal. Right? Money's universal. I, for many, many years, have yo-yoed. I've yo-yoed back and forth. There's been times that I've been on point with this and times I've been completely out of touch with this. But this idea that my reality in life, my abundance, if I want more money, then I have to literally, comes down as stupid as I have to believe I'm worthy of the money. And then I have to actually believe I can have the money. And I actually have to see myself with the money. The universe doesn't do anything. Why it's not going to what it's going to manifest is what you think about. Right? If there's two different wolves, we'll put it this way, a better way of saying it. Right? There's two different wolves. You've got the wolf of scarcity and the wolf of abundance. Which one are you feeding? Which one of these wolves are you actually feeding? Which one of these wolves are you giving energy to and saying, hey, this is the reality? If it's the law of scarcity, right, and you want money, you want abundance, you say you want all these things, but your energy and your thoughts are always wrapped around there's not enough money, there's not enough time, I don't have the right business, I don't have the right opportunity, I don't have the fill in the blank, fill in the blank, fill in the blank. All of that, the world, the universe, the energy you're putting out there is scarcity. What it does is it perpetuates what you're saying. So if you're saying, I'm not going to get the sale, guess what? You're going to go into the sales call and you're not going to get the sale. If you're saying that selling is hard, if you're saying that your industry is no good and you can't be happy in that industry, or you cannot have the results financially that you want in that industry, guess what? The industry is going to give you what you're asking for. The industry doesn't understand the difference between what's real and what's not. Meaning, your thoughts are the reality that the universe experiences. So if you experience now the flip side of that, we go to abundance, we experience the money. If you have stories in your head that tell you that making money is easy, that selling is not hard, selling is fun, is exciting, is required. If selling, you expect to make the sale. You expect to close the deal. You expect for those things to happen. What's crazy is the world aligns itself. The people that need to be in your world, they become part of the game. They find their way. You find your way into theirs. They find your way into yours, to all of a sudden, your life is the abundance that you believe it to be. This goes both ways. Your thoughts become your reality. And it starts with a thought. And a thought manifests into the stories that you tell. What do you actually believe about money? I want you guys to ask yourself a question right now. What do you believe about money? What is the story that you tell yourself about money? Is money hard to get? Is money evil? Is money not required? Is money not necessary? Is money amazing? Is money simple? Is money come when you need it? Do you have more than enough? And is it easy to give more than enough? And when you have more than enough, then what happens? Right? Do you hoard the money? Are you worried about losing the money? Are you worried about giving money to other people because they haven't paid the price you've paid? All of these are energetic stories related to money, and all of them will give you what you want. So in that self-assessment you're going to do for yourself right now, asking yourself the question, what's the story you tell yourself about money right now? Where do you fall into this camp? Do you lean towards the area of scarcity, or do you lean towards the area of abundance? Right? There's an infinite amount of resource. Infinite amount of resource. Because of the way, in the United States at least, because of the way that our dollar bill doesn't actually represent a piece of silver, a piece of gold, or some actual tangible thing. It literally represents an idea. Because of that, there is no limit to it, right? So there's an abundance, a mass level of abundance. This is why America is one of the greatest countries to live in, because you have the ability to create whatever it is you want to create. There is no limitation. There is no limitation. You can be what you would like to be, period. End of story. And if you don't believe that, then you don't live that way. But if you believe it, and you believe if you want to pay the price and do the work, that you could become a billionaire with a B, billionaire. And I want those of you who don't understand, the difference between millionaire and billionaire is not a little jump. That is a massive jump. A billionaire could buy 100 millionaires' lives, like 100 of their lives. They could just buy it, strike a check for it. But if that's what you want, if that's what you realize that you're capable of on this planet, and that's the game you're going to go after, then your thoughts, while you're not a billionaire, must become the billionaire mindset. We think I have to have the thing in order to be the thing. No, it's the opposite. You must become the thing, and then in order to have the thing. If I want to be wealthy, I must become wealthy here. I must learn and understand and create the relationship with the money, the work, the hard things I have to do, the discipline, all of that. I must become that. That must become who I am. And then the money will follow after. Because once I've started to create the value as that man or that woman, then all of a sudden now I'm going to actually have the result that will come off of that. Right? It's not the other way around. We get it twisted all day long. But it comes down to your thoughts. So what are your thoughts? Do you have good thoughts or bad thoughts? Do you have productive thoughts, or do you have weak thoughts? Do you have thoughts about anything? Now spinning it out of money and spin it into your relationships. Do you have thoughts and stories and things you tell yourself that you're a good husband or a bad husband? Are you a good wife or a bad wife? Are you a good mother or bad father? Right? What is it? Right? What are the stories you actually tell yourself, and what do you expect? What do you expect when you wake up every day inside your relationship? Do you expect your spouse to be a jerk? Do you expect your spouse to be loving? Do you expect your spouse to be powerful? Do you show that? Because you will show it based upon what you think. Your thoughts become the stories. And then what's the story you're telling yourself right now about your spouse? About marriage? About what it could be like? about why you're married to this person, about what you want out of it. What are you telling yourself? Because I can promise you, based upon how you answer that question, I can show you exactly what your results would be. I wouldn't even need to know you. I don't need to know you. I don't need to know your story, your circumstance, or discipline. Right? Your thoughts become your world, period. They become your reality. They become who you become. And it starts with the thought. So some of you guys who think that what you think about on a daily basis doesn't matter and you don't work on it at all, the personal development doesn't a thing, you're like not interested in reading, you don't want to learn new things, you're one of those guys who graduates high school and you're like, good, I'm done learning, right? You basically said at 18 years old, I'm done learning for the rest of my life. I may live to be 80, but I'm only going to learn for the first 18, right? Which is absolutely ridiculous if that's what you believe. But if it is what you believe, then you're going to get that. That's going to be the manifested result. But you have got to look and realize that those thoughts become the manifestation of who you are. So if you want more out of life, stop worrying about what you're doing. Start worrying about who you're being. Start worrying about who do I have to become in order to have this life that I would like, that I would love, that I would be fulfilled, that I would dream of, this relationship that I have. Who would I have to become as the man or the woman in order to attract that type of a man or a woman into my life? Who would I have to become to be the father who cares about his children, who spends time with his children, who's not forcing it, who wouldn't rather sit and watch the football game than go outside and play football with his son or daughter? Who would I have to become to be the guy who could walk into a high-level company that I started, built, and grew as a CEO and manage and run 1,000 employees, 2,000 employees, 10,000 employees? Who would I have to become? And consider that your capacity right now is the problem. You do not have capacity to do some of the things you want to do, but you have to work on building capacity, which comes down to, very simply, working on you. Build your mindset, build your strengths, build here. Become what you want to become. Then have what you want to have. Don't go out and have what you want to have, hoping it will get you to become who you want to become. Don't go buy the expensive car that you can't afford because you think the expensive car is going to turn you into the successful businessman. It will not. It will throw you the opposite direction. I've watched this 99 times out of 100. It throws you into scarcity because you can't actually afford it. You did not pay the price to get to that level. And there's a price that must be paid. The piper must be paid at every level, but you must become the person first, not second. It doesn't happen after, it happens before. So it's all I got for you. It's all I got for you in today's show. But I want you to take this and apply this lesson in your world. Across body, being, balance, and business. Looking across the area of the core four. Where, for you, do you need to change your thoughts? You need to change the thoughts and the stories, because right now you got terrible thoughts. You got thoughts you got thoughts that are not giving you the actions because the thoughts are scarcity driven. The thoughts are pulling you away from what you want, not closer to it. What is that area? Body, being, balance, and business, and what can you do about it today? Once you've identified it, what can you do about it today? What's one simple task that you can execute on today that's going to get you where you actually want to go? Find that area and do it. Just do it. Do the thing. Stop talking about doing the thing. Do the thing. Right? And I'm going to challenge you guys right now at a high level. You better start reading. You better start reading good material. I don't care what it is. It could be scripture. It's great. Read scripture. Read something else. Read something every single day. 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 1 hour. I don't care. It's the consistent reps of learning how to invest in who you are. So, that's all I got for you. That's the end of today's show. Appreciate you guys being on today. Appreciate you guys on this journey inside of the Pivot Show, where we truly talk about where millions are made, because they're made inside of the pivot. This is your host, Trevor J. White, reminding you that you're just one pivot away.